So this is going to be a demo of how to do uh, dimensional analysis. The three types that you're going to have on your test and in general are going to be time conversions, unit conversions, which means like milliliters to centimeters and stuff like that. And then the last one is going to be like kilometers to feet, metric to English conversions, basically. So let's look at the first one, and probably one that you're most capable with, and that's going to be the time conversions. So the time conversions are going to be something like convert, say, 365 seconds into hours. Okay, so that's pretty easy. You're thinking to yourself, what do I need to do? Now, the reason why I want to start off with the time is because it's easy to transition from this into the other stuff, because I want to show you the method that you need to go through and ignore all the extra noise. That's just my family. So, the first thing we do, whatever we're given in the problem, we always put that in the beginning, okay? So you make a chart just like that, and then whatever you're given in the problem, that's what you put right there. So the next thing that you do is you figure out what you're going into. So you go back to that thing that we learned at the very beginning of the year. Analyze, plan, compute, and evaluate. And so in the analyze part, we know that we're given 365 seconds, and we are looking for hours. Now, we don't know any direct numbers from seconds to hours. So what we do is we go into our plan stage and we say, okay, so I don't know seconds to hours, but I do know seconds to minutes, and I do know minutes to hours. So what I can do from there is I say how many seconds are in a minute or how many minutes are in a second. So whichever one is your smaller unit, in this case seconds is, there's going to be more seconds in 1 minute than there will be more minutes in 1 second. So what I mean by that is to put these coefficients up in front. So with a minute, you know that it's 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Alright, now same thing for the hours. You know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So you write that down there as well. So in the compute part, that's what this guy is right here. So you know in your plan that 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute and 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. So on bottom right here, you're going to put seconds because that's your unit up here, so seconds to seconds. And so then you put in the number in front. And you know that 60 seconds equals 1 minute. Then you do the same thing again. Now the reason why you did that was so that way you could cross out your seconds. Apologize about my pen screwing around. It's doing that for whatever reason. Alright, and then the last part is you write the last part of your plan, which is 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Now, you can cross out your minutes. Now, here's the important part right here. This last box, whichever one you make, it has to be units of whatever you're looking to get into. If it's not, then you screwed up somewhere and you need to go back and figure it out. So, you put it in there, you put that into your calculator, and then you solve for your final answer, which in this case is... Okay, so the answer in this case is going to be 0.10138. Now, the two things that we're missing here are sig figs and units. Okay, so if you were to put this problem down, if it was out of 5, you would not get all your answer points because you would lose 1 for the sig figs and 1 for the units. So right over here, I'm going to write what our answer is with the units. Now, what we have to figure out is what we round to. And when we're figuring out what we round to, we look at our significant figures that are given to us in the original problem. It'll usually say, or we infer it based upon what the number is in the given problem. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3 sig figs in the problem. So I'm going to round to 1, 2, 3 sig figs. So the way I like to do this is I underline what I'm looking at, and then I circle what the next number is. that number is 5 or greater, then what I do is I bump this guy up. If it's not, that stays the same. Now, in this case, the answer is going to be 0.101 hours. Okay, so you put that, that's the final answer, that's good. Problem is, the other thing is, you can drop off these last two digits right here, because it's like fractions of a penny. It really doesn't matter, and it's not going to make that much of a difference. If, however, the answer was 10138 hours, so we went some other way, what would happen is you would have to round the answer to 10100 hours. Now here's the reason why. In this case, it still is kind of like pennies, or fractions of a penny. Actually, I take it back. In this case, it's kind of like saying, an estimate from the government. It's going to be about $10,000. Could be more, could be less. It's not really all that accurate. And then they charge you $20,000 for a hammer and $30,000 for a toilet seat. But that's another question altogether. So, getting back to it, whenever it's a decimal number and you're rounding for sig figs, then you go ahead and you drop off the rest of the numbers that you have there. Whenever you're rounding and it's to the left of the decimal place, you're going to keep those numbers but turn them into zeros because they don't matter. Alright, so let's move on to the second type of problem that you'll see, and that's converting to units. So remember what I told you, it's 1,000 milliliters for every 1 liter, just like it's 100 centimeters for every 1 meter, and it's 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. So this works the same in any unit. Okay, there's 1,000 millis in 1 base unit. There's 1,000 meters or 1,000 base units in 1 kilo. So a kilo is 1,000, and a liter is 1,000 milliliters. Those are just some of those things you're going to have to remember. Okay, so if I'm converting from units, so one way to do this that I saw one student do, and I'm gonna do it for y'all. But there's a couple ways to do it. The way that I just like to recommend is just doing this right here. Now, if you're going, let's say you have 26 centimeters, and you convert that. Yeah, lovely noises, isn't it? 26 centimeters. So you want to convert this into meters. So what you do is you just divide by 100 centimeters into 1 meter. That's it. Same thing, and then the answer would be 0.26 centimeters. I'm sorry, meters. Now, the next part, let's say you had 135 milliliters. So then what you do here, do 1,000 milliliters into 1 liter. Again, these are just things that you're going to have to remember. This stuff up here, just one of those things that you have to remember. There's no getting around it. And so all you do from there is you just divide by 1,000, so it's 0.135 liters. Now, one of the other things, make sure that you put in the 0 ahead of the decimal place. If you don't, then it's going to be wrong. Alright, I'm going to stop the video here, and then I'm going to come back with another one, which you're going to have the link to as well, for doing the last part of the dimensional analysis.